Hey there, folks. Here I am, my first reveal in quite a while. I have been through some, rather trying issues over the last few days. Not anything really necessary to get into. However, it's I've been thinking about this all along because, well, of course I think about this all the time. Let me make sure I've got voice going on, make sure everybody can hear me. And I've got a new form of flip insert, slightly, that are going to help all of us out a little bit. I've got them color coded. See if we can see that. There we go. See, you can see that? See how it's color coded? I've got orange for this particular one. But I've got orange, purple, red, blue, green, yellow, got all kinds of different colors. That will help me in sorting them out and getting ready to mail them. And I can also tell you that as of tomorrow, all of these reveals and the packages from, the last week or two of auctions, they will all be mailed out. How you doing, Rex? I guess I should go through the list and see how everybody's doing here. See, we've got Hawkeye, we've got Joe McBride, Brian Pruitt, Farm Dog. We've got Thomas, Yo Man Gull. I see Rex Benham is here. Joe, who else? Adam Chambers. Hey, Adam. Eric is here. Hi to Eric. You guys have been doing a lot of chit-chatting in here, I see. I'm still working on getting the flip inserts ready. You'll have to give me just a couple more minutes to get them ready. But the flip inserts are a big issue with this particular project because, well, I've got to be able to clearly read what's going on, and I've got to be able to sort them because you would not believe what I go through when I'm sorting all these flips that we're dealing with, sorting them and putting them into pages. Some of you people who get a lot, like let's say Joe McBride, let's see who else, Eric Beyer, Paul Hampton, you guys, and Mike Birchman, you guys get a whole lot of reveals. So you know, when you get almost 2 full pages of reveals from me in the mail, you have to be able to understand what a pile I have to dig through just to get yours out, right? And everything is okay. We're doing just fine. Just wanted to make sure everybody knew that I was alive and I was here, although I do still have a couple minutes worth of work left to go through. Well, hey, Coinzilla. I see that you're here now. Jeff Dunn. I've just got a little pile of these left to go through. I'm on number 18 right now. As soon as I get done, we'll start digging into this 1960D roll. 1960D. Wow, that's one of those years. Never know what you're going to get into when you get into it. It can be a dud or it can be a really good one. There's all kinds of wonderful things that you can find in them. I don't know much of anything about the source of this particular roll. I know who I got it from, and I know I did not get any others like it, and I've never seen the inside of any one of the rolls that would have been in this group, so I have no idea what's inside of it. I know the source that I got it from would not have fed me a bad roll, so I know it's a good roll. I just don't know what's in it. We're going to find that out right here in just a few minutes. I'd like to be able to get another web camera. I think I need a new web camera. The one that I'm using for my table shot down here, it doesn't have really good features for lighting, and I don't like that. I don't like its lighting functionality. I like one that actually shows things that, they look real. They look as they should be. A lot of RPMs. Joe, a lot of RPMs. John Wexler has over 260 different listed RPMs for 1960D. Over 260 different ones. Now, I presently only have just about 200, and Kaneka is far lower than that in number. I don't know how many they have, but it's a lot fewer. Kaneka's rule regarding what they will list and what they won't list is, it's a little more on the stringent side, I should say, than John Wexler and myself. which is fine. I mean, everybody has their right to be the way they want to be about it. But I particularly don't believe in not listing something just because I personally wouldn't be interested in one. It shouldn't make any difference at all. What would make a difference is whether or not other people would want to collect them. So, let's see, I've got myself a hair in here I need to get out. I don't like it when my dog's hair ends up in your flips. Alright, we're up to coin number 46. Now 47. Now 48. That's how fast I'm doing them. Just to let you know. Well, who else do we have here? Kelly Ray now. Kelly Ray, how you doing? Eric, you need an alarm clock. Something to wake you up while you're going through the auction. That's okay, I understand, though. I almost fell asleep in a few of them, too. All right, there we go. There's all of our flip inserts with the nice bright orange color. Let me grab my roll. Got the roll right here. Not looked at the roll since I put it in there. There it is, 1960D, large date. Let's go ahead and get my tool out. This little guy right here, made for opening cell phone screens. And we'll go ahead and start prying away. Get the ends of these rolls undone. And let's see what I can do with this side. Got it. All right. Wrapper goes over the coins like usual. And there we go. All right, so I'm probably not focused, so give me a second to focus my shot. I'll go ahead and get coin number 1 out for you. Here, roll these forward so I can get this flipped properly. Would you get back to where you belong? There we go. And coin number 1 will go to Sireg. Sireg will get coin number 1. Let me put it under here and get it focused in. Yeah, looks like we got spots. This is the end roll coin, and it is an RPM. It's a relatively minor RPM, but I know it's going to be one that's listed. So, go through the process of taking a good look at it. I actually need to back off this just a little bit. There we go. There we go. That'll do us a lot better. Okay, with 60Ds, generally, because there are no reported double die reverses, we don't look at the reverse of the coin, so we can make things go a little bit quicker. I did also want to let you guys know that I have 5 reveals, as I'm sure you're aware, to do before tomorrow night, because tomorrow night is an auction where we will be having more reveal sales. And I don't want to get them blocked up together. So I'm going to do either 2 or 3 reveals tonight, depending on what I feel like after I get 2 done. This one looks like it is a minor RPM as well. So I'll set this off on the side with the other coin as a possible RPM. I'll take a look at it later to see if we do indeed have an RPM. This thing was getting really slow last time I tried to use it. So hopefully it works out, because that dyno just doesn't do very good lighting for live searches like this. Ah, the exposure square is showing. Okay. Yasser, and thank you. Thank you. Let me go ahead and set these over here. That makes a good spot. Coin number 3 is going to go to Mike Birchman. Mike B. Let me turn this guy up. There we go. And yeah, that'll work. Okay, let's see what Mike gets here. Does not appear to be an RPM, although it still may possibly be a very minor one. Be on the lower serif, if anything. Looking at what, a heavier die scratch. What is this? 1 or 2 heavy die scratches coming out of the top of the 9. It's 2. It's a pair of them. There's a pair of heavier die scratches coming straight up out of the 9. So we're going to check these other coins. We're going to see if we have a match up here. Let's see what we got. Only flip up coin number 2 again. Yeah, it's what I thought. They're the same die. There's just 2 heavy die scratches coming up out of the 9 again. So coin number 3 and coin number 2 are the same die. Let's take a look at coin number 1. And this one's also the same die. So we have 3 representatives of the same die. Looks like, looks like Lincoln just had a sneeze there. So let's look at our coin number 3 again. This is coin number 1. I'm going to put coin number 2 in there. Now back to coin number 3 again. Let's see if it looks like Lincoln just took a sneeze. And it does. So we have the same die 3 times. Let me get my exposure right on this shot. There we go. Now I can make it disappear. Kelly Ray's not feeling good. I hope there's nothing wrong with you. I hope everything's okay. I have not heard anything from Bill Crusson as of today, so I'm going to continue on the idea that he is still hospitalized and not feeling well. His daughter contacted me yesterday, or the day before yesterday. Okay. So, same die again. There's Mike Birchman, coin number 3. So I'm going to be doing another one of the shows at 9 p.m. It's about a little more than an hour from now. And coin number 4 is going to go to Randy. Randy gets coin number 4, and this is not the same die. This is definitely a different die. And it is not an RPM. Yeah, not an RPM. Check for you, see for a double die there. No doubling on In God We Trust, and no doubling in Liberty. So got ourselves a normal coin. First normal coin in the roll, coin number 4. Yeah, I've got a couple of other people who have disappeared on me that I've been wondering about for a while now. I'm going to start trying to do some investigation into why are some of my people missing. Does anybody know or has heard from Fox Run Forge? Anybody heard from Fox Run Forge? Anybody? Here's another one of them. Same die again. Minor RPM. There's your booger, we'll call it. A little sneeze. Okay. I'll bring up a little list of people, and if anybody has any idea at all how they're doing, then I will know that they're okay and they just haven't come around, and that's all right with me. I'd just like to know. How about J.O.B.? Anybody knows J.O.B., knows how he's doing, seen him lately, in the last week or two? I will be satisfied that he is all right, but I want to make sure. This is yet a different die. It does not match up to be any kind of an RPM. It is also not a double die. So we'll move on. And that was for Paul Hampton. There's a few other people I noticed as I was going through things to see if I could figure out what was going on. Anybody unhealthy or anything that I need to know about. Because sometimes people just disappear and they don't leave a following message. It's like, hey, I'm gone, don't follow me, I'm good. And then I'd be like, okay. But when they just disappear, it makes me wonder. Makes me really wonder. Coinzilla. Coinzilla for the next coin. And Coinzilla gets an RPM. This one is an RPM. It's actually a rather nice RPM. It is not yet one that we have found within this roll, but I will remember a cluster of die scratches headed north to the northeast out of the 1 of the date. So really heavy die scratches coming up out of the forehead into the bridge of the nose. Oh, and there's one in front of the hair. That's a really good one right there. That little one sticking out in a slightly different direction from the others. Die scratches on the neck. A couple of heavier die scratches coming up and out of the Y of Liberty. Thank you, Wanda. I don't just care about people's money. I care about the people, too. All right, that's another RPM for you, folks. Next coin goes to Joe McBride. And Joe McBride ends up with, it looks like probably just a normal coin. That's what it looks like to me. Let's check that eye. Make sure that eye is all right. Yeah, that eye is normal, as is the L in Liberty. Places I typically look when I'm doing searching on these early 60s issues is that I will especially check the 0 of the date in 1960. There's a few Philadelphia double dies known. Nothing really on the Denver, but I like to check anyway, because that just makes me thorough. Then I look for doubled eyelid. Definitely always look for a doubled eyelid on these. And for 1960D, especially the 1960D large date, look for a lot of doubling side to side in the letters and In God We Trust. That would make it DDO number 2, I believe it is. A really nice double die. And then I always look for bars above, like a stick sticking straight up out of the L, or a bar down below the L that would match up with the horizontal bar. Those are the common things to be looking for in early 1960s Lincoln cents. See you around, Hawkeye. Appreciate you being here. And here's one for Sureg. Another one for Sureg. These coins are actually in pretty good shape. I mean, they're pretty shiny. Very shiny, actually. All right, here we go with another RPM. If I can get the light to come down. There we go. That's another one of the ones with the 2 spikes out of the 9. And the drip on the nose. Yes, this is that 2 spikes on the 9, drip on the nose RPM. It's the one everybody likes. No. It's not the 2 drips out of the nose. It's only 1. I just see us describing RPMs like that. What would happen if we didn't have numbers? That'd make a lot of things more difficult. Good thing we have numbers. As soon as I can get an RPM number for this, here's another one. As soon as I can get an RPM number for this, then we could actually call this by its number. Eric will help us with that if Eric is around. What do you think, Eric? Tell me you're around. Next one I find, I'll zoom in on it and we'll get a couple of good screenshots of it so you can go hunt for it. That one's for Paul Hampton. Another RPM. Now number 13. Coin number 13 goes to Sureg again. And Sureg gets himself another one of our RPMs. It's another really minor RPM. Same one as we've been finding so far in this roll. The same one I've been trying to get Eric to speak up so he can identify it. Okay. Eric is around, so screenshot that for the marker on the obverse. Here, hang on. There you go. Screenshot that so we can get those die scratches. Let me know you got it. Then we'll zoom in on the mint mark itself. Oh, Wanda got her box. Awesome. Okay, Eric, I'm about to move on to the next image. Next image is going to be a much closer image of the mint mark itself. Well, this one is quite minor. I think it was quite this minor when I was looking at it earlier. It has a little tiny split on the upper and a little tiny split on the lower. I'm going to get my camera. My rotational axis for my camera often likes to mess up because, well, I don't have a long enough cord. How about that? Got it? That's a flat-on picture, no angle. That's why you can't see the lower serif very well. If I could put it at an angle, I'd be able to show you that lower serif a lot better. All right, you got that one? And we'll move on. Okay. So this one's for Sureg. And let's move on. What else we got here? Anything? I need to move back a little bit. There we go. Right in there somewhere. I need to change my lighting again. I still don't like this. I'm a little bit of a princess when it comes to my lighting. I have to have it just right. Of course, I'm the one looking under the scope, so here we go. Okay, that's what's wrong. I get my camera screwed back around. Okay, now I know how I'm driving. All right, got it. Let's see, that's coin number 13, now coin number 14. Coin number 14 will go to Chase Carlisle. Mr. Chase, this coin is for you. And what do we have here? Is that another RPM? It's not like any of the coins we've seen so far, but it could be a new different. And see, there is a little bulb right on the top of the mint mark. Right on the very top of the mint mark. And do we have anything underneath? We don't have anything underneath, but we do have a little bulb on the top. I don't know. Don't know whether this one's going to be a listable type or not. Get us back underneath here. Zoom in a little bit on this one. I don't know. What do you think, Eric? Is that enough? I mean, it's enough like 95 is enough, or like 91 is enough. I don't know. We'll keep it out. We'll photograph it. We'll figure it out later. But this may not be listable. It may be too minor, but it is an RPM. So let's go ahead and back out again. Get some marker information on this little guy so we'll be able to look for him. And what do we have here? Okay, I've got a pretty nice strong scratch to the west of the mint mark and south of the mint mark. It is kind of minor. Hey, John. I saw that message earlier today, and I saw Greensboro. and that you'd gone to the Greensboro UPS. And my brain, for some reason, froze on the borough with the G, and I was thinking Goldsboro. Well, I only live about 20 miles from Goldsboro. And I was thinking, wow, that's cool. We could actually meet up sometime. Greensboro, sheesh, it's like 60 miles from here. 60 or 80. Okay, here's another one of those. Another one of those that has the 2 spikes coming out of the 9. And should be a little bit of post-nasal drip going on here. Yes, and there is. It looks like he's got a little Louis hanging down off his nose. And this is the first die in the roll that we had come to. And this one's for Donna. And that's coin number 15 now. Coin number 16. Coin number 16 goes to Adam Connor. And let's see what we got for Adam. I'm looking at that little thing that looks like could be a curve coming up off the northeastern corner of the mint mark. Now that I zoom in, it kind of disappeared. Yeah, I'm going to go with a no on that. So this one's not anything on the mint mark. Let's check on the eye and the rest of the design to see if we might just accidentally happen to have a little bit of a double die. Maybe or maybe not. Not on the eye. Not on In God We Trust, and not on Liberty. So we have ourselves a normal coin. Adam Connor. Now quads. Coin number 17 for quads. Let's see what quads gets. Well, our ever-famous RPM, a little minor RPM in this particular roll. We got another one. This one's a little spotty, though, but it goes to quads. So he's got his own example of this one now. And that's coin number 17. Now for coin number 18, Coinzilla. Coinzilla. And what do we have for Coinzilla? Oh, looks like we got another one. This roll is just full of this particular RPM, which that's a good thing, you know, because we could just be running across a normal die time and time and time again. At least we got a handful of RPMs out of this to speak for. That's coin number 18, Coinzilla. Now coin number 19, Doug Reese. Doug Reese gets coin number 19. And coin number 19 will be dun 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 not an RPM. Let's take a better look at the eye on this one. Might actually be a double eyelid going on there. Might. Ooh boy. If it's there, it sure is minor. We're going to say probably a nope to that. Yeah. I'm thinking no on this one. It might be a doubled eyelid, but it also could be a fact of die wear, because there is some die wear on this, and there are die flow lines all around it, and I just really don't like to attribute things that I'm not certain of. So being uncertain about this one, I'm going to go ahead and put it back into the pile. And here comes coin number 20. James Worley. Mr. Worley gets one. And what does Mr. Worley get? It's another one, I think. Yes. Another one of our RPM 1 for the roll, anyway. Don't have any idea what number this would be overall. Hello, Cullen. Nova Scotia, huh? I appreciate you coming by. Wonder if it's really cold there, or if it's just... I know that Nova Scotia is an island, so typically they don't get a lot of snow. But I have seen where you've had dumpings before that have put feet on the ground. Feet of snow. Meters. So how are you doing up there right now? Is it cold or is it not cold? I say up there because I'm in North Carolina, a little better than 1,000 miles to the south of you. This was one of the minor RPMs. That's one of the ones that only showed the little pad on the top. So I was more fascinated with the idea of talking to someone about Nova Scotia weather and wasn't doing my job, but I'll continue to do the job and talk about Nova Scotia weather. Let's see, are you an RPM? Are you my mommy? No. No snow tonight and some on the way. Well, I tell you what, the whole Northeast has some on the way, that's for sure. They're looking at snow from roughly the mountains of Virginia going northeast through all the states up into your part of the country, or your part of the world, anyway. I guess you're not in this country. Nova Scotia, is that not where Oak Island is? I do believe that's where Oak Island is. Yeah, well, what do you know, Joe? You speak up and you get a coin. Yes, there were die scratches on the neck. Hey, Jess. We got coin number 23 now. Coin number 23 is going to turn out to be... This is not the die. These are not the drawers you're looking for. Move along now. Yes, we've got no forecast for snow around here. We might actually get just a little tiny smidget of sleet or freezing rain mixed in with our rain, but we're not really looking at much of a chance of snow here. Not out of this lot anyway. You're talking about 0 to 2 inches. Is that about it? Well, Colin, I definitely appreciate you being around. Let me go ahead and mod you so that we will know you're not a troll. Because we have had troubles with trolls lately, and well, the only way that you can tell that someone has been given the green light is if they're given a blue name. So I'll give you a blue name and we'll move on. Well, for some reason, this coin appears to have been lightly circulated before it was placed into this roll. That could mean a number of different things. The most common of those being that this roll was wrapped from a hopper full of relatively new coins back in 1960 that weren't necessarily all from the same source. Could also be that the roll was repacked and rewrapped, but I did not see anything like that when I was looking at it. We definitely have an original roll because we keep coming up with these. This is another one of those RPMs. Die scratches on the neck. Well, Eric, not particularly strong die scratches on the neck. I saw another one that had patches of die scratches on the neck, but this one doesn't really. There's more die flow lines. We've got die scratches behind the head, that's for sure. Let's see if I can find anything else for you to use as a good marker for this. Die cracks. No die cracks in the hair. I usually look for a die crack in the hair. I look for any heavy die scratches inside the ear, and I didn't see any here. Probably the next best marker you're going to get is these north and south die scratches coming out of the top of the nose and out of the forehead. So, Cullen, did they all together just like take all pennies out of circulation, that you can't even get them in circulation? I mean, I know they don't make any new ones, but I'd expected they'd probably leave the old ones in circulation. Or have those been all spoken for by collectors at this point? Paul Hampton. Paul Hampton, coin number 26. I'm going to have to zoom out. Paul Hampton got a nice RPM. Look at that. That's a good one. See how fat the bottom of it looks? Just the bottom serif looks really fat. That's what it is. Lowe's isn't going to figure it out. Somebody has to complain. I swear, anymore business is all about making money and no service. All right, Paul gets himself an RPM. And you get an RPM. And you get an RPM. All right, coin number 27. Yo, man, go. Yo, man. We got nothing going on here. This is a different die, though, because you can see that thing coming up off the 9 is actually a clash with the roof on the reverse. And you probably have more clash marks over here. Not necessarily. Not easy to see, anyway. This coin was struck by a die that had a die clash on it that was mostly polished off. All right, thanks, Eric. Let's see what else we got here. Oh, I promise you guys I wasn't going to go through the reverses because it's kind of a waste of time. 27. Was that an RPM or no? That was no. It was not an RPM. Coin number 28. Mr. Worley. Mr. Worley gets coin number 28. And coin number 28 appears to be... Come on, camera. Let's see. Not an RPM there. Unfortunately, not an RPM. Let's check the eyes and ears really well. So I said, I will be doing another show at 9 o'clock if I can get done with this one in time. I'll be doing a show at 9 o'clock and then another one at 11 tonight, probably. If we can get it done. Doug Reese. Doug Reese. And that's Eastern time, folks. Eastern time. I do everything by Eastern time because that's the way my clocks are set. I set my clocks to Pacific time. I'd be late for everything. Okay, this is another one of our RPMs. Now, what are the markers to show to see if there might be something? Let's see if there's anything on the reverse. Well, let's check for a marker on the reverse and see if there's any reverse markers. And we have one long concentric die scratch that goes under the ATES of states. Eric, you want to get a screenshot of this? Get it focused in here real good. So vote yes or no. You want me to do a show at 11? I'll be up. I can do it. Big die dot between the N and the T of cent. Brian says yes. Yeah, I know Atlantic time in Nova Scotia. Is it standard time? Did you go to, do you do daylight saving time in Canada? I can't remember. It's 8:14 p.m. here. And I'm in North Carolina. Brian says yes. Joe McBride says yes. Just doing a simple count of yes to no's. I'll do it if we go with the majority yes. There's another die scratch pair right there from the S to the O of. And no, this is not a double die. Heavy die scratch inside bays 1 and 2. Heavy would be a horizontal die scratch inside bays 1 and 2. Jeff Dunn says yes. Rex Benham says, I'm not going to be awake. You want me to catch up tomorrow? All right. Let's see what we got next coin. Number 30. It's going to be one of the RPMs, and that's going to go to Farm Dog. It's one of the RPMs, and it will go to Farm Dog. That's awesome. Yeah, like a, I think it's going to be close to half. So far, anyway. Randy gets the next coin. What does Randy have? It's another one. Another one of the same RPM. There's your post-nasal drip right there. 9:15 in Nova Scotia. Okay, so Atlantic time right now, you guys are indeed an hour ahead of Eastern time, which is what I'm in. I'm in the same time zone as New York City and Rio de Janeiro, I believe. Okay. Got nothing going on this one that I can see. Nothing there. This is a different die from any of them that we've seen so far. So, some chance of something else showing up on this one. Let's take a look around and see what we can see. I don't really see anything on this, so. Nope. Nothing, nobody. Sorry, Jim. Yeah, that's right. Colin's an hour earlier than everybody else, so maybe he knows the secrets. That's right. We're talking to a man into the future right here. Take advantage of that while you can. Say, can you give me the lottery numbers? Of course, Colin's not going to tell you the lottery numbers. He's the one who's already picked them. He's going to play those. Tell me what you played so I know to play something completely different. Unfortunately, Adam Chambers didn't get anything out of that coin. Just a normal one. Hello, Bill. And Chase Carlisle gets the next coin. What does Chase get? Bill, we've been finding a couple of different RPMs in this roll. One of them is a relatively minor lower split serif that has a count of probably close to half of what we've already looked at, a little more than half of what we've already looked at have been that RPM. And we've got another relatively minor RPM that's showing up that has a little bit of doubling on the very top of the D. This one's for Donna Mac. See what Donna Mac gets. The birthday girl gets one of our RPMs. See, Bill, there it is. A little minor split serif on the lower that shows as an extra thick spot, basically. And then you've got a little split serif on the top. But the way I've been able to identify these is those two strong die scratches come up off the top of the 9 and the date. And there's also going to be what looks like a sneeze coming out of the nose. Where is it? There, you can kind of see it a little bit. Let me turn around this way and see if it shows up any better. Well, this coin's got a fingerprint on it, so it's really kind of hard to see. But it is definitely one of the RPMs. It's the RPM number 1 for the roll. And it goes to Donna Mac. That's all right, it's a Larry special. Got yourself a Larry special there. Get her done. Oh, not that Larry. Okay. Get her done. Come on. There we go. And it looks like this is going to be nothing. Unfortunately. It's got spots all over it. Holy moly. Could you just get me a decent coin? COVID sneeze. No COVID sneezes here. Yes, we do very well sanitize the facility before and after you watch this show, so there is no chance that we are going to spread COVID to you. All right. Please limit your ride to 6 people per car. Thank you very much. And have a great time at Chucky World. Hey, there's another one. Another one bites the dust. Another one bites the dust. This is the other RPM that we've been looking for here. This is our second RPM of the roll. It does not have the snot, but it does have very heavy die scratches coming straight up out of the nose and the forehead. And I do believe this one will have scratches on the neck. And it does. Scratches on the neck. And it's got 2 die scratches, diagonal die scratches coming up out of the Y of Liberty. All right. There we go. Yes, apparently a practice which is frowned upon is to stick an Alka-Seltzer in your mouth and run inside of Walmart and say that the virus has mutated. I guess that's just not very well smiled upon. They don't like that. I haven't figured out why, but they don't. All right, I'm starting to get loopy on you folks. Yeah, we've not yet begun. Coin number 40 goes to Farm Dog. Let's take a look at coin number 40. And that's going to be one of our RPMs. That one's going to have the double die scratch and the COVID sneeze. Yeah, but the COVID sneezes are supposed to be dry. Oh, no, that's the cough. The cough is dry. That's right. You lose your sense of taste and smell. Whatever the heck that is. It's going to have to go away. You got to go away. There we go. I'll get that thing off of there. I don't know what that was, but it's been on there for a long time. Well, 60 years to be exact. Now it's gone. 60 years of invading the skin on this penny. And you are an RPM. You're not one of the prettiest RPMs. Also not one of the prettiest coins. But I'm not going to give you that kind of a complex. I'm going to let you go ahead and appear for the rest of the members of this panel who are watching for an RPM to come out of the 1960D roll. Everybody likes a 60D roll for RPMs, and that's what we're looking for. So just keep producing. Thank you very much, and have a great day. All right, here's another one. Another one, and you're going to be able to see the COVID sneeze on this one. There it is, right there. The little thing coming straight down out of his nose. The COVID sneeze. Now Wanda has to snot out her nose because she's been laughing so hard at me. That's what it is. Adam Connor. Adam Connor gets this one. It's a nice coin, looks like. Like in good shape. We do have an RPM. This is that second one, Eric. This one has an inside vertical doubling. A split upper and lower. It's also got these little scratches on the neck. It's also got a lot of heavy die scratches straight up out of the nose and forehead. And it's got that one little horn right there in the front of the hair. The spitting Lincoln. That's right. Find a Lincoln with a die scratch or a die crack that looks like snot coming out of his nose and sell it on eBay for $50 a coin just because I can. That's right. I have the power. You can see the splits on it just like that. The lighting is horrible, but you can see all the doubling. Got a nice little split on the lower, got a nice little split on the upper, and then if you look right in that area right there, that is where the vertical of one goes under the vertical of the other. This is why you call these tilted. You call them tilted because this inside serif is the higher one. This inside serif is also the higher one. So that means this serif goes with this one. And this serif goes with this one. And so you have a doubled mint mark that does not have a primary. It is not a D over D north. It is not a D over D south. It is not a D over D rotated in any direction. So it is specifically just a D over D. And when we call it D over D, well, we know that this is higher in relief than this, and that this is higher in relief than this, so we call it tilted. And further proof of it is this right here, where this vertical goes inside the upper part, and then here on the upper part, it goes down behind the lower part, kind of making an X, like a crisscross, if you're looking at it in cross-section relief. And that is a D over D tilted. It's a perfect example of D over D tilted. So, hang on just a second. Move my light back to where it belongs. Zoom the scope back out. This is die number 2 for this particular roll. And there we go. Hi, Shantanu. Haven't seen you in a little while. You haven't been at the auctions lately with your bright, shining smile. All right, there we go. There's coin number 42, now coin number 43. I may or may not be able to get to this other one at 9 o'clock, but I will be very shortly thereafter if I'm late at all. So here's coin number, oh, look at that. There's another one. There's another one of them right there. Die scratches on the neck. So that's another one of our die number 2 for this roll. A D over D tilted. And now you know the secret. And now you know the rest of the story. I probably did that way too closely. YouTube may not like that. Didn't mention the guy's name. No mention of the broadcast that was in. Number of years back, and I thoroughly enjoyed listening to every show he did. In fact, it was about 4:20 in the afternoon when he would come on the radio station that I listened to. The only problem is my shift started at 4:30. So at 4:20 in the afternoon, I'm sitting in the parking lot at work waiting for, oh, this was a normal coin, sorry. Waiting for Mr. Harvey to come on and do his rest of the story. You know, stealing context basically out of one of his broadcasts. He did a story about a little Hispanic boy. This little Hispanic boy absolutely loved playing baseball. In fact, he was a pretty good baseball player. As he became a teenager, he played in his high school baseball team. And then he went on up in age to where he could try out for the major leagues. The only unfortunate thing was this little boy was Cuban, and it was really difficult for him to get back and forth to wherever he needed to be to try out for the major leagues, so they sent the scouts to him. He wasn't quite good enough to make it into the major league. They kind of wanted to sign him to a minor contract, and he didn't want to take the minor contract, so he went on about his business, as did Major League Baseball. This boy ended up being Fidel Castro. That's right, the leader of communist Cuba. What would have happened had we actually had him in the major leagues? You think maybe Cuba would have turned out a little different? And maybe Castro himself would have been a little different. As we all know, there's a good chance that Major League Baseball could have been a little different. He wouldn't have been the first Hispanic young man to be picked up for the major leagues. Nope, that distinction went with Roberto Clemente. And I'm not going to say it, but you know. That's right, the rest of that story. Okay, I was just making sure I did not have an RPM there because I got myself confused. Clemente did, yes. Roberto Clemente had a baseball card. And next one goes to Deanne. That's coin number 47. Roberto Clemente had a baseball card issued as card number 1. Hey, look at that. Here we go. There's another one of those. We got 2 different dies showing up out of this particular roll. This one is the better of the 2, and it's die number 2 simply because I found the other one first. This is another example of the die number 2 out of the roll. Yeah, and Roberto Clemente had a card issued in the 1973 Topps set. It was card number 1. It was in the first series. And the reason for that was because of a major change, or an instant change, or a quick change in their plans for the 1973 baseball card year for Topps. You see, Clemente had died prior to the card being issued, never played in the 73 season, because Clemente died in a plane crash on New Year's Eve night, 1972. He never lived into 1973 at all. That's right. Anybody who has a complete set of 1973 Topps baseball cards just needs to look at card number 1, and that is Roberto Clemente. All right. Rookie card, 1955, I think, right? Didn't know you were a card buff. Time Traveler's Coin Exchange. And by the way, hello, good evening. Welcome to the broadcast. Next time we do a show, we're going to do a Ask Chuck a Question hour. Pretty much anything you want to ask me, I'll answer. Prefer to stick with basic life lesson type things or numismatics or something to that effect. All right, that's another one of our RPM 2 for the roll. It's the better of the 2 RPMs that we've been finding so far. Hey, CVS. Not much of a card buff, more of a investor might I say. All right, last one in the row. Yo Man go. Yo Man gets this coin right here. And it is another one of our RPM 2 for the roll. This one appears to be one that I recognize, but I'm not quite sure how I recognize it. I don't know what die this one is, and I'm pretty sure Eric has gone to sleep by now. Yeah, well, we got ourselves a really nice pile here. That is very nice. Hockey cards for Cullen. Yeah. So I can remember some of the hockey cards I had, even going back into some of the Parkhurst cards I had from Canada from back in the day. The O-Peaches and the Hart Parkhurst cards, Leaf cards. All right, so here's the RPMs for this roll. 50, 49, 48, 47, 43, 42, 41, 40, 38, 35, 31, 30, 29, 26, 25, 21, 20, 18, 17, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 8, 5, 3, 2, and 1. These are the RPMs, folks. We have a roll here that was just loaded full of RPMs. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. 29 RPMs in the roll. That means there's only 21 coins that are not RPMs. Oops. And those 21 coins are right here. 21 coins, not RPMs, and 29 that are. I appreciate it, folks. It's 8:34 right now. I will be back at 9 o'clock for the next broadcast. I do believe that's when I scheduled it for, and if not, I'll be back at 9 o'clock anyway. We'll get the next show started at 9 o'clock. That is going to be reveal number 221, which is going to be a 1954D roll. 1954D. Should be a pretty fun one. So I'll be back then. Appreciate it, folks. and I will talk to you guys in about 25 minutes.